Hello to all our audience tuning into our channel. We're so glad to have you with us. Stay tuned for exciting content. Let's get started.
A group of bank robbers executes their first heist, with one member wearing a distinctive red hood that he claims brings good luck. The hooded leader theatrically addresses the hostages, explaining they're stealing from the bank, not the people, and comparing banks to thieves who steal from us every single day. The robbery is precisely timed, lasting under 2 minutes, with one member constantly checking his watch and counting down. After escaping, the red-hooded robber throws money to people in the streets, earning their admiration and comparing himself to Robin Hood. The security guard's poor marksmanship, missing 6 shots at close range, reinforces the leader's belief in the Hood's protective power. The gang escapes successfully, leaving behind chaos and citizens scrambling for the scattered cash, while news reports describe yet another freak in a mask terrorizing Gotham. Detective work begins as police investigate the bank robbery, discovering the crew timed their heist perfectly by previously setting off a smoke bomb to measure response time. The investigation reveals the robbers did their homework, knowing exactly how long they had before police arrival. Meanwhile, Alfred Pennyworth reunites with his old military friend Reggie Payne, who has fallen on hard times after his wife's death 11 years ago led to alcoholism and homelessness. Reggie was arrested for vagrancy, but released when he mentioned his Special Air Service background to a sympathetic Marine officer. Bruce Wayne graciously offers Reggie shelter at Wayne Manor, despite Alfred's hesitation. The chapter establishes the professional competence of the Red Hood gang while introducing personal complications for Alfred, whose past military service connects him to Reggie's current struggles with civilian life and loss.
Fish Mooney finds herself imprisoned in a mysterious medical facility run by Dr. Dolmacher, where she discovers a horrifying organ harvesting operation. The facility manager tries to negotiate with her, but Fish demands to speak only with Dr. Dolmacher himself, who is supposedly away on business in Gotham. Fish asserts her dominance by claiming the basement prisoners as her responsibility, refusing to let anyone leave without her permission. Meanwhile, the Red Hood gang celebrates their successful heist, with the hooded leader convinced his mask brings supernatural protection. The other gang members remain skeptical, but agree the hood should signify leadership. The chapter reveals the dark underbelly of Gotham's criminal enterprises, from street-level robbery to international organ trafficking, while Fish demonstrates her refusal to be intimidated even in captivity. Her negotiation tactics show she understands power dynamics and refuses to be treated as just another victim.
Penguin faces operational difficulties at his newly acquired nightclub when his liquor supply is cut off by Don Maroney, who refuses to do business with him out of personal animosity. Despite having a wall of bottles, Penguin discovers they contain only colored water, with real alcohol stored elsewhere. The club's previous supplier, Maroney, controls the entire district, and no other vendors dare cross him to help Penguin. This creates an immediate crisis, as customers leave when they discover the deception. Butch Gilzian reveals he's been working behind the scenes, using corrupt police officers disguised as legitimate cops to steal a liquor shipment, providing a temporary solution to Penguin's supply problem. The chapter illustrates how territorial control and personal vendettas impact business operations in Gotham's underworld. Penguin's struggle to maintain his establishment shows the challenges of building an independent criminal enterprise when powerful figures like Maroney can strangle competitors through economic warfare rather than direct violence. The Red Hood gang strikes again, but this time without their original leader, who has been killed, revealed to be Floyd. A new member has taken up the Red Hood and continues the Robin Hood persona, throwing money to gathered crowds who now anticipate the gang's appearances. The robbery follows the same pattern, precisely timed, focused on register cash rather than vault money, and ending with a public distribution of stolen funds. Police investigation progresses when restaurant worker Mr. Chang witnesses the gang's escape and provides crucial testimony. He identifies the new Red Hood leader as a fat one who removed his hood while driving, giving police their first clear look at a gang member's face. Detectives realize the symbolic nature of the hood means the gang can theoretically continue indefinitely as long as someone is willing to wear it. The chapter explores how the Red Hood has become more than just a disguise. It's evolved into a symbol that can be passed between criminals, making the gang potentially immortal and increasingly difficult to eliminate.
Bruce Wayne undergoes intense physical training with Alfred and Reggie, learning both traditional boxing techniques and more brutal street fighting methods. Reggie, drawing from his special air service background, teaches Bruce unconventional tactics like targeting vulnerable spots and using environmental weapons, much to Alfred's disapproval. The training session reveals philosophical differences between Alfred's disciplined approach and Reggie's pragmatic combat experience. Alfred emphasizes control and proper technique, while Reggie advocates for dirty fighting and psychological warfare. Their disagreement extends beyond training methods to child-rearing philosophy, with Alfred protective of Bruce's moral development. Meanwhile, police work continues as they arrange a lineup based on Mr. Chang's description. The witness successfully identifies Clyde Destro as the Red Hood robber, but Detective Harvey Bullock suggests releasing him under surveillance to locate other gang members rather than making an immediate arrest. This investigative strategy aims to dismantle the entire organization rather than just capturing one member. Fish Mooney continues her psychological battle with her captors, refusing to submit to their organ harvesting operation. When threatened with the removal of her eyes, she demonstrates her fierce determination by apparently choosing a violent third option rather than accepting either death or mutilation. The scene emphasizes her refusal to be victimized and her willingness to escalate confrontations rather than surrender. Meanwhile, at Wayne Manor, Bruce serves wine to Alfred and Reggie, creating a more relaxed atmosphere that reveals more about their military past. Reggie shares combat stories and pushes Alfred to acknowledge his lethal training and experience, suggesting Alfred is hiding his true nature from Bruce. The evening becomes tense when Reggie questions Alfred's restrained approach to Bruce's education, implying that Alfred's proper English gentleman persona masks a more dangerous past. The chapter juxtaposes Fish's open defiance with Alfred's concealed nature, both characters struggling with how much of their true selves to reveal in their current circumstances. The Red Hood gang's criminal enterprise unravels when internal conflicts lead to violence. Clyde DeSestro is shot by a fellow gang member and, while bleeding out, provides police with crucial information about their next target and hideout location. Under interrogation, DeSestro reveals the personal motivation behind the bank robberies. He's a skilled baker who was repeatedly denied loans by the same banks he later robbed. The robberies were acts of revenge against institutions that refused to recognize his worth or provide him with opportunities. This revelation transforms the gang from random criminals into victims of systemic economic rejection who turn to crime as a form of protest. DeSestro's loan rejection letters from each targeted bank provide evidence of the personal nature of their crimes. The chapter explores themes of economic disenfranchisement and how financial institutions' indifference to individual struggles can create criminals. Meanwhile, Penguin and Butch toast to new beginnings and discuss their complex relationship with Fish Mooney, acknowledging that enemies often define us more than friends. Reggie Payne's desperate circumstances force him to betray Alfred's trust by stealing from Wayne Manor. When confronted, Reggie reveals he's in serious trouble and needs money, though he won't specify the nature of his problems. The confrontation turns violent when Reggie stabs Alfred, forcing Bruce to call for emergency medical help. This betrayal devastates Alfred, who had shown kindness and hospitality to his old military friend. Simultaneously, police execute their plan to capture the remaining Red Hood gang members at their final heist. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the criminals refuse to surrender, leading to a violent confrontation. The chapter's dual betrayals, Reggie's personal betrayal of Alfred and the gang's betrayal of society, create parallel narratives about trust, desperation, and the lengths people will go to when cornered. The violence that erupts in both situations demonstrates how quickly desperate people can turn to extreme measures, regardless of previous relationships or moral boundaries. The episode concludes with the resolution of multiple storylines and the revelation of larger conspiracies. Bruce rushes to the hospital, desperate to save Alfred, who represents his only remaining family connection. The emotional weight of potentially losing Alfred forces Bruce to confront his isolation and dependence on his guardian. Meanwhile, shadowy figures discuss Bruce Wayne, suggesting there are people investigating him and looking for opportunities to move against the young heir. They mention Bruce's suspicions and cobbled together theories, but dismiss them as lacking concrete evidence. With Alfred hospitalized and potentially out of commission for weeks, these mysterious antagonists see an opportunity to act against Bruce. Reggie Payne's betrayal appears to be connected to these larger forces, suggesting his financial troubles were manipulated to position him as a weapon against the Wayne family. The chapter sets up future conflicts while emphasizing Bruce's vulnerability without Alfred's protection and guidance, leaving him isolated and exposed to unknown enemies who have been watching and waiting for the right moment to strike.